He's wearing pink twice in 1 week? Has he gone mad? Oh, that's silly. I've been mad this entire time. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Let's get to my low, my high, my active kindness, because, man, I need to explain my low for this one. Because yesterday, when the day started, I was really excited because I wanted to go see a Blue-Eyed Soul playing at the Illegal Tap House. But throughout the course of the day, it was just raining outside and kind of gloomy. And not just me, but virtually everyone I saw when I was out and about had that sense of feeling drained and didn't want to do anything. And that was the vast majority of my day. I just felt drained, I think, with summer slowly starting to come to an end, the days, while still on the long side, are getting shorter by the day. And, there's a bit of a change in the weather. I mean, mornings aren't as warm as they used to be. Nights also are not as warm as they used to be. I mean, when the sun goes up, so is the temperature. But at night, it's a crapshoot what kind of weather you're going to get in terms of, temperature. Either way, you know what? My low is the fact I missed Blue-Eyed Soul, but that's okay. I mean, listen, I've seen them twice already in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it would have been nice for 3 for 3, but listen, it's on my 2026 bucket list to go see them. I only really need to see them once to put the check mark on my bucket list. Adding another check mark to it it's icing on the already delicious cake. And that's fine, because it leads to my high, which was I got to see my folks. I went, instead of going to see a concert, I stayed with my folks and saw them for the evening, had a great time, had dinner with them. We had hot dogs for dinner last night, which my mom made her special meat sauce for the hot dogs. It was great. I got mine with this dill mustard on mine with some onions, some of the meat sauce. We had tomatoes and green beans for a side. My mom tried to make hash browns, but they didn't really come out well. At least not the way you'd want to, but they were good too. Honestly, dinner last night with my folks was awesome. I mean, you also have to understand, it's hot dogs. Full disclosure, if it were left up to my devices, I could probably eat 20 hot dogs. And that's with the bun. Without the bun, it'd probably be a lot more. Because, carbs and stuff, whatever. But, I mean, come on, hot dogs are awesome. And yes, they are a sandwich. Meat plus bun equals sandwich. Now then, my act of kindness was I had to do the dehumidifier for my dad. And, yeah, that's it. So, I mean, you saw the title of the video. Wait, you're doing Field of Dreams? A movie that came out so many years ago? Well, yes. And full stop, this is a movie that, I did see a little bit of in college because we had to watch it in a religion class of all things. I'll try to explain later on in the video. And also, it's a movie that it's been spoiled for me. So, last night was the very first time I ever actually sat down to watch this movie. It happened to be on TV as I was watching with my dad. And yeah, man, Field of Dreams is a great movie. It is. I have nothing. I mean, listen, I really just couldn't say that Field of Dreams is a great movie. Go see it, end the video. But it wouldn't be the type of content I make if I didn't elaborate on things. And so I will do that here. So, for those of you who haven't seen Field of Dreams, it starts off as this one guy who is a farmer in Iowa, played by Kevin Costner. And he's out in his cornfield one afternoon, and he hears this voice saying, "If you build it, he will come." And he's able to hear the voice. and his wife, played by the lovely and talented Amy Madigan, which, dude, like, Amy Madigan back in the 80s was fine, man. Holy cow. Like, fun fact about Amy Madigan, she just recently won her Oscar for being in Weapons last year, and the last time she was nominated was like 40 years before that, making it the longest gap between Oscar nominations. Kind of a fun fact for you. Actually, the whole cast in this movie is awesome, but I'll get to that in a second. So, Kevin Costner's character, his name is Ray, gets the idea in his head that he needs to build a baseball field, a baseball diamond, in his cornfield, so that, quote unquote, he will come. Now, on the surface, if something like this were to happen today, yeah, you would absolutely be concerned. In fact, this movie is supposed to take, well, the movie was made in the 80s, but is it say when it takes place at? Doesn't really say, okay, I'm trying to see if when the movie actually takes place. It doesn't really say when specifically it takes place. So he builds a baseball field, and everyone is saying that he's crazy. But all of a sudden, one evening, a mysterious figure appears on the baseball field. It was the White Sox player, shoeless Joe Jackson, played by the late Ray Liotta. And the next night, more baseball players arrive. And it's one of those things where only the family can see these baseball players. Ray, his wife, and their daughter Karen, they can see the baseball players, but nobody else can. And later on in the movie, Ray hears another voice saying, "Ease his pain." And that same night, they go to a PTA meeting that wants to ban books written by this one author named Terrence Mann, played by the late, great James Earl Jones. And, Ray gets in his head that maybe he needs to talk to Terrence Mann, ease his pain, because he does research on the guy, and turns out he really loves baseball too. And, man, this movie's really good. Holy cow. And they talk in the movie about, because they established early on that Ray's father actually did play in the major leagues, but they didn't really have like the greatest relationship. And he finds out that, one of the reasons why is he actually read one of Terrence Mann's books, which sort of, kind of set it off. But it was when Ray mocked his father, saying, he could never respect a man whose hero, in this case, shoeless Joe Jackson, again playing Ray Liotta, was a criminal. And if you don't know, it's talking about the White Sox scandal, which happened in the 1919 World Series, was it? Black Sox scandal. Where, if you don't know, what happened is, basically, the Sox were really poised to win the entire thing, but they threw the game. And, all the players on that team, including Shoeless Joe Jackson, was suspended from ever playing again. Even though it was very evident that Joe Jackson was the one person who wasn't trying to throw the game. So, yeah, that's what happened. And keep in mind, I said that earlier that the movie was spoiled for me, and the movie ends with Ray, ultimately he regrets what he said to his father and how before his father passed away that they didn't reconcile. But at the end of the movie, you see a young version of his father, John, on said Field of Dreams. And it just ends with the two of them playing catch. Which, listen, on the surface, yeah, a movie like this sounds kind of crazy, but listen, you have to remember, movies in the 80s they're freaking awesome. And I love that they're getting more and more attention as the years go by. That's not to say that other movies of other decades were great, the 70s, the 60s, even the old-time movies that were made in, the 40s and such. They're getting their time in the spotlight, too, but the 80s really was the time to be alive if you were a movie fan. To put it to you this way, it's kind of an old, beating a dead horse by saying this, but Kevin Costner has kind of been the butt of a joke for kind of being a stiff, wooden actor. Not as wooden as, say, Keanu Reeves back in the day, but yeah, I can kind of see why. But he's great in this movie. Amy Madigan's great in this movie. Ray Liotta, James Earl Jones, who I mentioned earlier. They're both really great. And not to mention, there's a scene where they're at Fenway, watching a baseball game, and there's a teenage, and there are these two teenagers, and they're played by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Bro, this, again, this cast was stacked to the brim of, a cast like this would be the equivalent of, say, kind of like the cast of The Odyssey today. In fact, Field of Dreams was actually nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, as well as, I think it was Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. Oh, Best Original Score and Best Adapted Screenplay. That's what it was. Okay. Ooh. In 2017, this film was also selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. So, it's quite literally, a country staple to at least know about this movie. Listen, much like any time I talk about a movie or a comedy special that I see or even music, it's all subjective. I like this movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to like this movie. Would it be great if you did? Sure. But you don't have to agree with me. Having seen this movie, from start to finish for the first time last night, I definitely get it. I don't really know if I would put it up there in my Mount Rushmore of sports movies. Well, it's a top 10 sports movie for sure. I'll say that. I could even make the case it's top 5 for me. If I really want to. Keep in mind, I am kind of in prisoner of the moment status where I only just saw it, so I'm letting my first impression kind of take over a little. But this movie was great, man. If you're a Kevin Costner fan, of course I wouldn't be surprised if you've already seen it. or if you're an Amy Madigan or a James Earl Jones or Ray Liotta or a Burt Lancaster fan, I can imagine you wanting to see this movie. If you're diehard fans of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in the 80s and 90s, yeah, I would watch this movie for them alone. If you're a baseball fan, who am I kidding? You've probably seen this already, but you know what? Watch it again because it's good. Or if you just want to watch a good movie. And here's the kicker, because, again, the movie was spoiled for me a long time ago. I know that the movie ends with essentially Kevin Costner's character, Ray, playing catch with a younger version of his dad. I knew that going in. But it's one of those things where you know it's going to happen. And you at least respect the creative process and the attempt of trying to make a good story going in. But seeing how it all plays out is much different, and it gives you a much different perspective. I mean, At the moment, I would say it's hard for me to say that this is in my Mount Rushmore of sports movies, but I'll say it's in my top 10 at the very least, for sure. I'm glad I finally got a chance to see it, and the best part is, I was actually watching with my dad. Yeah, my dad had the remote, and so Field of Dreams comes on, so we're watching that. We're also, since he had the remote, he's also changing channels between that and the show Texas Metal, because my dad's a huge car guy. But yeah, man, Field of Dreams. It's a great movie. Sorry I'm late to the party and watching this, but I'm glad I saw it, and you know what? I'm sure it won't be a super long time before I see this movie again. Hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, under the homeliest video for all you guys watching. Joe, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, if you're here to lend me back, take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.